So this is part 1 on how to build a personal brand A to Z. I'm going to guide you through exactly what I did with my main channel, how I set up my content funnels, how I found my niche, and how I turned my passion of making videos into a full-time income as a personal brand. Now, if you're starting your own personal brand or you already have one that you're looking to scale, then you're in the right place. Let's get right into it. Take out a notebook just like this so you can take some notes, because information without implementation is just productive procrastination. Part number 1, build the foundation. So there's a really good sweet spot that you need in your personal brand to really outperform the competition. Now, this consists of 3 components: skills, interests, and market demand. So you need to identify what makes you stand out as a person. Do you have experience in personal branding? Is that something you can teach? Maybe you have 5 years of experience in door-to-door sales. Maybe you're a marketing expert. Whatever your skill set is, whatever past experiences have taught you, that is something you should use and leverage in your personal brand. Because there are people, so many people who are just 1 to 2 steps behind you, who are willing to pay for your knowledge, for your expertise. And that's pretty much the gist of a personal brand. You talk about your skill set, your experience, and as you talk and as you improve, you continue to level up and grow and grow. And there's always people 2 steps behind you who are looking to learn from you. So you don't need to be an expert. You don't need to be a professional. In fact, being an expert and being too good and too further along and too advanced is actually going to set you back, and I'll tell you why. If you are too much of an expert in your topic, then most people just won't resonate to you. The only people you can really teach are those who you can relate to. And if you're all the way at level 100, there's only very few people at level 98. So that is the sweet spot. You need to find, number 1, what is your skill set? What are you best at? Number 2, what are you interested in? What would you be making videos on? What would you be talking about if money wasn't a factor? And number 3 is market demand. If you have a skill set that nobody really wants, nobody cares about, then it's going to be hard to attract an audience. Now, if you're talking about teaching people sales, there are so many people who want to learn sales. Sales is such a big skill. The market is in demand. So make sure the thing that you are teaching is in demand and it's something you're interested in and you have prior experience. That is where you become a real authority in your personal brand. And the second thing I want to talk about is define who you're creating for. This is your ICP, your ideal client persona. So what makes a profitable personal brand is not just views, not just subs, but also a clear targeted demographic. With every single video, you need to be talking to one person. To that person who is the previous version of yourself. Think of yourself 2 years ago. What problems did you have? And think of yourself now. How did you solve those problems for yourself? Because there is somebody right now who is the same as the 2-year-old version of yourself, who had those problems, and you can help them bridge that gap and get to where they want to be now. Whether that's an income level, whether that's a mindset shift, whether that's a level of personal development. Whatever niche you are in, you need to understand the transformation mechanics. You start with A and then you go to Z. And then you have the gap between A and Z, between where you are now, where the person is now, and where they want to be. And your unique mechanism, your skill set, your mindset, your thoughts, and your personal experience is what is going to help them get from where they are now to where they want to be. Maybe they're lazy right now. Maybe they don't have good habits. Maybe they can't focus and they're undisciplined. And where they want to be is they want to be the better version of themselves. They want to be more disciplined. They want to be more charismatic and build better habits. And so what you do is you come in and you help them get there. That is the whole essence of a personal brand. And that's why people relate to people. Now, what I do with my main channel is my audience are people who need more discipline. People who still procrastinate. They still doom scroll. They still get distracted and lose focus. And that's a problem that I'm helping them solve, is becoming more disciplined. It's hard to be disciplined, to build better habits, to be more focused and consistent when you're doing everything by yourself. And that's exactly where my videos, that's exactly where my private community, where my messaging comes in. What's allowed me to scale to 131K subscribers on YouTube and even 121K on Instagram is picking one clear audience, one avatar, and solving one problem for them. So what I actually did to really level up my personal brand is at the early stages, I would get on calls with my clients. Anybody who joined the community that we launched a year ago, I would get on a call with them, a personal call, and just talk to them. Just talking to the ideal client persona, the person who actually watches your videos and also buys from you. Having more conversations with who you're trying to attract is the best way to get that knowledge. You're literally getting market feedback from the warmest source. So if you want to better understand your ICP, number 1, you need to create a paid product, a private community, a mentorship, and you need to host some calls. You need to personally have at least 100 calls with the people who buy from you. You need to be talking to them, maybe for an hour, maybe 2 hours, coach them, even if it's not for really high pay at the start, but you're more like gathering information, gathering feedback and insights at the very beginning. This has allowed me to really understand who I'm talking to. So define who you're creating for. One clear audience, one clear problem. And number 3, to build the foundation of your personal brand, you need to choose your positioning. Choose how you position yourself. You see, first impressions are everything. There are so many people who are in these same niches as you who are making similar videos. So you need to ask yourself, how can you position yourself in a way that stands out from the competition? Because if you don't stand out, if you just say the same advice, the same way, and you do the same things as everybody else, you are just going to dissolve into noise. So the question here is, what makes your perspective different than everybody else? Because everybody has already tried what you want to try. So it's up to you to come in and position yourself uniquely. And this next thing I want to talk about is not just a technique or strategy, it's also a mindset shift. You're going to want to commit to one niche for long enough to gather enough data. The problem most people make with YouTube, with personal branding, with anything in life in general, is they don't stick to something for long enough. You need data, you need feedback, and you need to stick through the personal brand even when you don't get views, you don't get subs, and maybe even you don't get any sales. You see, so many people just change their niche every single week, but you're going to want to be that 1% that just sticks to what you're doing. Now, I went through phases with my personal brand where I'm telling you, I had a year long, like one whole year, where I was posting every single day and I barely got any views and subscriber growth was very slow. But what did I do? I didn't quit. I didn't complain. I didn't decide that, personal branding isn't for me. I actually stuck through it. I was able to stay consistent even when I wasn't seeing results. And that's what's allowed me to scale my personal brands to over 200,000 followers across platforms. So that is a mindset shift in personal branding. Like, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what strategies you use. It doesn't really matter what advantage, what camera you have, what microphone you have. If you can't stick to something for long enough, then none of that matters. And at the start, everything is just hard. It's hard to make videos. It's hard to show up motivated. You're not seeing results. You don't even know who you're talking to. You don't know what videos to make. And even when you do think a video is really good, it doesn't get any views. And that is beginner's hell for every single personal brand. Every content creator has gone through that. I've gone through it. Everybody else has. So my question to you is, can you move through that phase and still show up with enthusiasm? Still show up willing to learn, willing to try new things, and not get discouraged and not give up. That is one thing that you need. That is a mindset shift, the most important mindset shift for building a personal brand. And that takes me to this last point before we move on to part number 2. You see, the idea of continuing and pushing forward and not giving up, it also helps to choose something you're passionate about. Because if there's no passion with what you're doing, with what you're talking about in your videos and your personal brand, then it's also going to be really hard to continue. I was lucky enough to find a niche that was my life prior. Before I even started posting videos, my life was self-improvement, reading books, journaling, gaining knowledge, and understanding myself and my mindset. So before I even touched a camera, I was still thinking and talking about self-improvement to my friends, to family. So it was natural to me, and it was like the next logical step. And that's why I was able to continue for as long as I did, not just because of the mindset, but also because I was doing something I was passionate about. If you make videos about dropshipping and that's what you want your personal brand to be, but you really don't care about dropshipping, then you're just setting yourself up to fail. Choose something that you're really passionate about. Just imagine this. If you had to pick one thing to make videos about, but you couldn't make money from it, what would that be? That's the thing that you're most passionate about. Now, part number 2 is all about building your brand identity. So 2 things I want to talk about to start off. Number 1 is create a simple brand message. Basically, what do you help people achieve? This can go in your bio. This can go in general in the description of your videos. And this is also like an unspoken thing that people should know when they come to your channel. If somebody lands on your YouTube channel or Instagram or personal brand, whatever platform, and they have no idea what you do, what you help people achieve, then you don't have a personal brand, you just post videos. So that message, what do you help people achieve? That is so important. And the second thing I want to talk about is develop familiar pillars. So these are your content pillars. These are 3 to 5 things, recurring topics that you always talk about. These are things that constantly rotate between, and I talk about them in every video essentially. So you need to have one main core message. For me, that's discipline. And then you can have sub-content pillars. For me, it's procrastination, dopamine regulation, identity shifting, focus mastery. And these are the content pillars that kind of trickle down from my main core idea of discipline. So 2 things, craft a simple brand message and develop familiar content pillars. And that's how you build a profitable personal brand. You make a brand identity so strong that people, once they see your personal brand, they can't forget about you. And that takes me to creating a memorable identity. Everything from your profile picture to your thumbnails, to the text you use on your thumbnails, to the way your videos are edited, to the colors that you use on your page, on your cover, on your thumbnails. Everything has to have this coherent, consistent format. A really successful person in the personal branding space said something that really changed the way I think. You need to have a consistent format, but inconsistent content. What this means is that your channel should look uniform. Your videos should be edited the same way, almost the same length, talking about very similar topics. Your thumbnail text should be the same font every single video. It should be the same format, the thumbnail, the way it's positioned, the way it's designed, so that people know exactly when they click on your video that, okay, this is Dan's video, or this is, I know this personal brand, this is this guy's video. So everything about the format of your videos should be consistent. But then the content, the things you talk about, the topics, they should be inconsistent. Meaning that you should definitely change what you talk about. You should change the way you say something. In your personal brand, you're going to say the same message, but every video, you're just going to want to find a different way to say it. If you build your personal brand in the right way, one video that goes viral, one video that does really well should carry and bring with it a lot of views to every other video. As soon as you get one video that does very well, it should raise your standard and your baseline for views. And if it doesn't, that means somewhere along the lines, you broke the chain. When somebody liked your video and they were expecting more of the same thing, you didn't deliver. You didn't give them what they wanted. And that's why they watch one video and not your whole channel. Now, the last thing in part 2 before we go to part number 3, which is the most important part out of this whole video, is this. It is that you want to focus on trust over perfection. So early on, consistency beats cinematic quality. Before I had a nice camera, before I had a nice background, before I had a really good mic and good settings, before I had good cinematic editing and cool music, the only thing I had before I had all this stuff is just consistency. I started off, I posted on my phone, and then I got a DJI mic, and then I bought a camera, and then I bought some lenses, and then I bought a better camera, better lenses, and that is how you should progress. But what you start off with is just consistency. You want to create the loyal fan base first. To predictably grow, you're going to need a certain level of quantity and quality. If you just have quality, meaning you upload one good video, but you upload every 6 months, it's just not enough to grow. If you upload 5 videos a day, but they're all terrible, then none of them are going to get views. So you're going to need the nice sweet spot between quantity and quality. And the goal here is if you can upload 1 to 2 videos per week that are very, very good, that provide really good value, that talk on a very in-demand topic, and if you can do that consistently for a whole year, for 2 years, for 3 years, then there is no chance that you don't win. There's no chance that your personal brand doesn't grow at least a bit. So focus on trust over perfection. Focus on just being you in these videos. You don't have to be anybody. You don't have to hold yourself up to this imperfect standard, because just by being you, you're instantly unique to everybody else. Nobody is like you. And that's the whole point of a personal brand. Now, if you're enjoying this video and you're getting value from it, consider subscribing to the channel and tell me what you want to see in the next videos in the comments below. Part number 3, build your content engine. So to start off, choose one primary platform. I really don't like when people say, oh, you need to, if you make one short form video or one long form video, then clip it up into 100 different short form videos and post on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Reddit, and post on 10 different platforms. The people that are giving you that advice are people who have teams of dozens of people doing that for them. As a single person, or maybe 2 people, 3 people, you just can't do all that stuff. You can't spread your attention way too thin. Focus on one platform. Starting out, I made the mistake of focusing on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. So what I decided to do was I decided to stop focusing on Instagram, stop focusing on TikTok, and focus 100% of my attention not just on YouTube, but on YouTube long form. I didn't post shorts. I didn't post anything besides 1 to 2 long form videos on YouTube every single week. And as a result, my YouTube grew really, really fast. I was able to hit 100K subscribers this year. And with that, I was able to get more sales, grow my private community, and even build out a very solid mentorship program. And that all came from just focusing on one primary platform. And after you've developed a really consistent format, then you can start posting on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. And that's exactly what I did. I focused on YouTube only till I hit about 80K subs on YouTube. And then I started posting on Instagram and I was able to scale past 100K. And once I did that, now I'm focusing on Facebook as well. Do one thing right, choose one thing and master it, and then move on to the next. And now this is a very, very important concept I want to tell you. It is building a simple content system. Systems create success. So if you want to succeed with your personal brand, you need to systemize. You need to have a clear system for when you post, how you script, how you film, how you edit, and when you post, how you make thumbnails. And I have a few videos about systems, content systems on the channel. You can watch them. So check that out if you're interested. Basically building a simple content system so you don't have to do the same thing 100 times. Like when I set up my lighting, I know exactly how it's going to look. I've created a content system for my lighting setup so that every time I have to sit and film videos, I don't have to spend 5 hours just fixing the lights. Or every time I have to script the video, I don't have to spend 3 hours just thinking about how the format is going to be. Everything is just systemized. And when something is systemized, you don't waste unnecessary time on shallow work and admin tasks. My camera settings are all set up. I know exactly the workflow of editing the videos. I have a nice workflow for making thumbnails. I've even gotten used to the way I talk on camera. It's pretty much a content system. And now the next step, after you've built a simple content system, is to learn the basics of content packaging. If your content packaging is just poor, nobody's going to click on your video, nobody's going to watch your video, so it doesn't even matter if your video is good. And this is not just titles, it's not just thumbnails, but it's also the hook of your video, the first 20 to 30 seconds. So spend some time learning thumbnail design. Thumbnails are very important. Number one, you can use outlier titles that have worked before. You can look in your niche or in other niches, find a video that performed really well. For example, somebody with 10K subscribers and they posted a video and it blows up and gets hundreds of thousands of views. That is an outlier. That shows you that that person, his video or their video worked. So if you take the same packaging, make it your own, and make a completely unique video, it has a very high chance to succeed. So making good titles that evoke curiosity, and then also learning thumbnail design, making really good, solid thumbnails. So the title and thumbnail make somebody click, and then the intro tells somebody whether or not their click was worth it. And if they think that they made the right decision by clicking on the video through your intro, they're gonna watch till the end of the video or at least halfway through. And that's all you need. So either learn very good thumbnail design or get an editor that can do that for you, that can design really good thumbnails. And now the next thing I'm about to tell you is really interesting. So if you're a personal brand, creator, content creator, chances are, just like me, you used to refresh your analytics 100 times, as if by the next time you refresh, you'd gain so many more subs. But every time you refresh, it just grows very slowly. You refresh your Instagram profile, your YouTube analytics, and you don't even know why. You're just refreshing for that hit of dopamine to see your sub count go up by 1, by 2, by 5 subscribers, whatever. And now there's nothing wrong with checking analytics. It's just how you check analytics. If you were like me before, where I would just check analytics with no real purpose, and I would just refresh, just to get that hit of dopamine, then you're doing it all wrong. But what you want to look out for are things like watch time, things like retention, audience feedback, and not just views, not just subscriber growth. Because if you track the right metrics, you can actually make the right changes. If the result of you checking analytics is nothing, you don't change anything, you don't make any changes, then you're basically wasting your time. But if you look at the key and core analytics from your channel, you look at which videos worked, which themes worked the best, which intros were the best, then you can take that data, you can take that information and apply it to your next videos. That is the whole point of having analytics, of checking your analytics in the first place. And you use that data to improve your content. And let me tell you about the most important thing about building a personal brand. It is that you just need to be willing to learn and to accept. And you just need to understand that you are not going to be great from the get-go. You're not going to start your personal brand, your YouTube channel, and just expect to see hundreds of thousands of subscribers in a very short time. It just doesn't work like that. There is a natural progression curve. Some people grow very fast. Some people just start and post videos, and all of a sudden, wow, they're at, tens of thousands of subs and they're blowing up. But even me, as somebody who's been in the game for 3 years, I can tell you for a fact, it took me so long to start seeing results. At some time, I actually thought that I was unlucky. I would see all these nice, successful case studies. I'd see all these people posting, they started posting at the same time, and they just grew way, way, way faster than me. And that just happens. But that is the outlier. There are a few people who have fast success, but most people, and if you're watching this video, you're probably like me, you're growing your personal brand and you're not seeing the results you want. You're not getting the views, the subs, and even the success that you want based on your effort. And that is okay. That is part of the process. If you're willing to accept that and continue being consistent, even through the tough days, that is when you win. Because as long as you have this mindset, you will be ready to take on building a personal brand that pays you for life, that builds you and gives you a life of freedom. A personal brand unlocks location freedom, time freedom, mental freedom, and financial freedom. And chances are that is why you're here. So I'll be making a part 2 of this video soon, a guide to building your personal brand. So you have everything that you need to take the right action steps, to do the right things, so you can grow on social media. And now I hope you took some notes, because information without implementation is just productive procrastination. Take care, and I will see you in the next one.